No, Gavi Gujarat has enjoyed a very long and cherished relationship with BAPS, and dating right back to when Param Puja Yogiji Maharaj came to the UK in 1970. My father produced a commemorative supplement. Can you tell us a bit about your recollections of Yogiji Maharaj?
See, personally, I want to say that I was not fortunate as a child to have met Yogiji Maharaj. And I heard a lot of stories in my childhood about Yogiji Maharaj. But, if in the indirect experiences that I've had, he was the most innocent sadhu or a spiritual person you could ever imagine. And a person whose love actually embraced everybody. He never had any divisions for anybody. A great spiritual leader who was always engaged in the worship or meditation of God. And one small incident I would like to recollect. Why do I say all this stuff? Once in Ahmedabad, we had to go and meet one very senior legal person. And as we had to go, I had one of our advocates, his name is Upendra Bhatt. And I asked him that this is the person that we want to go and visit. So we sat in the rickshaw, and as our rickshaw went to somebody's home, his name was exactly the same as the person I wanted to meet. Okay. That man invited us. We sat very quietly, So very, embarrassingly, I told our volunteer, I said, I think we're at the wrong house because it's not him. And my volunteer said, but Swami, it's the same name. I say, it's the same name, but I have seen him before, but it's not him. So how do you tell somebody you got into somebody's home and he's welcomed you and he's so happy about you coming there? How do you say that, I'm sorry, we're at the wrong house? So after about a half an hour discussion, I very politely brought up the issue and I said that, sir, please forgive me. You're a big lawyer yourself, but we were actually at the wrong house. We wanted to see somebody else. He said, no, Swamiji. You are at the right home. And I said, why? He said, I want to explain to you that about 50 years ago, I was a very young lawyer and I had come into Ahmedabad. And I used to stay at Akshar Colony. Okay. And that's where a saint like Yogiji Maharaj was seated. And as I was passing by, because I was a young kid, I was not a Swami and I was not interested. And I used to stay in the guest room of that person on rent, paying guest. So Yogiji Maharaj was doing his puja in his room alone. And as I was passing by, my staircase actually led to that room. And when I saw for a second, he was so engrossed in God that I thought that not all the human beings on this earth together could extricate him from his connection to God. So that's my only image and impression of Yogiji Maharaj. Right. But it doesn't finish there, the story. He says, since then, I have only got one image in my small puja room where I meditate for 2-3 hours, and it's of Yogiji Maharaj. Okay. And I have not met any Swaminarayan sadhus till now because I'm not a Swaminarayan. And I'm not even so religious. I don't follow any rituals, no mandir, no God, nobody. But that moment was so deep in my heart, I used to pray to Yogiji Maharaj that one day, if you are true, one day you bring the saints of your sampradaya to my home unannounced. So now I believe that it's him. Yes, it's him.
Wow.
who has actually guided you here. So you are at the right home.
Wow.
So this is why I say that my
Yeah.
impression, or, feelings for Yogiji
Mm.
Maharaj are
Mm.
way out of this world.
Yeah,
So
it's a beautiful story. So my father often spoke about the innate divinity and spirituality of Brahma Swami Maharaj, and I know you were ordained by him in 1981. Can you tell us what Brahma Swami meant to you?
everything. And I really want to say that whatever I am, whatever my emotions, whatever my thoughts, and whatever the goodness that he has, inspired me to follow, everything is Pramukh Swami for me. And if, I would like to explain in a very simple way that does not confuse anybody, that, the photograph of your child is not your child.
Mm.
It's just a piece of paper. But when you look at that photograph, you can think of nobody else but your child.
Mm.
Similarly, the wedding ring is not your wife.
Mm.
When you have a wedding ring on your finger and you look at that, you can think of nobody else but your wife.
Mm.
So similarly, when I look at Pramukh Swami, he's not God, but when I look at him, his pure spirituality and what he means to me, I think of nobody else but God. So Pramukh Swami is very special. Uh, you know, it just begins with him and it embraces everything that I see.
So just a quick question about what inspired you to join, though, because you had very good grades to go to university, Oxford or LSE, from what I read. So what inspired you to join the Sanstha?
Uh, it's like, I wanted to say there are so many things in anybody's life.
Mm.
Some things you can explain, but there's a lot more you can't.
Mm.
Some things you can connect the dots backwards, and some things you try and connect the dots in the present. So if I look at my life in hindsight, you know, there at that time, I had just finished my O levels. I was doing my A levels, uh, about to sit my S papers. And, we get those, your grades are predicted. So that was the time.
Mm.
But my connection with Swami and what really, was one of the sources of inspiration. We had this Adhivation, and the finals of this Adhivation means, all these competitions which are arranged
Mm.
uh, by elders. So far as children, they participate in essay writing, drawing, then speech, narration, and then table tennis and sports. So I participated from Leicester. As a child, I was just about 11 or 12 at that time. And I was very new, even in the spiritual way, because we were very young. And in that activation, God's grace, I won quite a few prizes. And the final ceremony was at Wembley Conference Center, the original Wembley Conference Center.
Yeah, I remember.
All the kids were all, gathered there. And to my surprise, it's like, I won the Best Balak Shield. This was in 1977. So Jurassic time. So I won the Best Balak Shield. And so when I went to collect that, it was at the hands of Pramukh Swami. The whole is a big shield, because when you win a lot of prizes, then you have the best child of the competition. And in that excitement, I dropped the shield. So when I dropped the shield, a little part of the shield broke. Okay.
Mm.
And I was quite like, so not just embarrassed, but a little hurt and unhappy. But the people were all applauding because I had won it. So of course you have that shield and you show it to the people. And then carrying the little part that was broken with me, I went down the stage. Okay. And as I was about to sit down in my chair, suddenly, a special seat was offered because I won the prize. I think, there was a crowd of maybe a couple of thousand people and hundreds of children. Okay. And it was a great moment of, pride. But at that time, the organizers, Mahendra Amin and a couple of other leading organizers, they came to me and said, can we have that shield back? And as a child, you don't give anything that you have, and definitely not a prize. So I started saying, no, 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 no. I was just 11 and a half or something like that. I said, no. He said, no, no, no. Can we have this shield back? I said, but why? He said, that Swami on the stage. See, I was not so familiar with everything at that time. I was a child. He said, he has said that, you are hurt because the shield is broken. So we will replace the shield. And I was so stunned that, while everybody thought I was happy, how did he know I was hurt? Pramukh Swami. So that same evening, I wrote a letter in English that, Swami, while everybody was applauding and they thought I was happy, how did you know that I was a little hurt? So, to my surprise, I got an answer back. This is the beauty of Pramukh Swami. And in the answer, he wrote to me, "Amne अंग्रेजी आवड़તું નથી તું ગુજરાતી શીખીને મને કાગળ લખજે." And I went down to my dad and said, I want to learn Gujarati. And everybody's thinking, why you want to learn Gujarati and things like that. At that time, the early stages in Halkin Street in Leicester, there was a Gujarati class going on every Sunday after the Bal Sabha. So I became a regular Bal Sabha person. And then slowly, as I got interested, then my connection. See, I was always amazed by Pramukh Swami. And I felt he could read me through and through. And it was a deep connection. And then I grew and I was always guided by him. And as you know, I was definitely inspired by him as a person because I did not know much about even the life of a monk. And slowly, as I got close to him through my mind, I did decide that I wanted to be sadhu. So many people wondered, because they said they had a good scope in education and other things. My school teachers called me, and one of my school teachers said, I knew you'd do something stupid like this. So I just want to tell you very honestly, but those are the people now, they feel completely satisfied saying yes. And in our organization, that nobody can become a monk without the permission of a willing permission of your father and mother and your family members. And that's when Pramukh Swami actually would accept you. So that was my inspiring single incident was like he knew me. That was very, very inspiring. And that continues to inspire me now, even now, that, you feel that there's somebody who understands you, knows you, and reads you.
So you said in a previous interview, Swamiji, that the Abu Dhabi Mandir was Pramukh Swami's prophetic vision for global harmony. So can you speak about his vision for this mandir and how it was conceptualized?
In all honesty, at that time in 1997, we were all here in Dubai. And we were told and also advised that, whatever you do, you should do privately, any spiritual gathering or talking to the devotees. So either going from home to home, but please do not do anything in public. And because at that time, that was the atmosphere, the climate, and maybe that was what was required. So at that time, it was also unthinkable even of going to Abu Dhabi in these clothes. Not because, there were like strict laws or something like that. No, but that was how everything was perceived. And I think you understand what do I mean. And So every person who stayed here advised us, and we were all there quietly doing our, puja and all our ceremonies very quietly, privately in our devotees' homes. Once or twice we did this assembly in the Indian embassy. Prabhu Dayal was there. He was the consul general. What a nice man! And at that time, we thought that it would be a good idea to go to Sharjah. So a few monks, sadhus, and a few devotees who were there, we had gone to Sharjah, and in the deserts of Sharjah, we were sitting on a sand dune. Suddenly, there was a sandstorm, and everybody's protecting themselves and things like that. And Pramukh Swami was under an umbrella, and everything was taken care of. Out of the blue, Pramukh Swami started praying. And as his habit is, Japri dhun hoine, so he started doing this dhun, Swaminarayan, Swaminarayan, Swaminarayan. And then dhun for, goodness and, even some works which are incomplete. So may they be completed without any hindrance and things like that. That is customary. Here it was suddenly surprising. And if I link it with London, this is something else that is very important. I told Swami that Swami, when Yogiji Maharaj came to London in 1970, and he was being carried in the special chair, and then he suddenly told everybody that, please put me down, and I want to. Don't you want me to touch the bhumi of England with my foot? You understand? So that was very precious. So Pramukh Swami, started doing dhun, and at that time I also said, "Ke Bapa, this is in the desert. We are in Dubai. So why don't you take your footwear off and then put your toe and your foot exactly in the sand, like Yogi Maharaj did in London." So this is a small connection. And Pramukh Swami, was doing dhun, and suddenly, out of the blue, he said, may there be a temple in Abu Dhabi. We were all surprised, like struck by wonder. And he continued that may it bring countries, cultures, communities, and religions closer together. And then he said, may every country grow without any internal enmity, free of prejudice, and progress in their own unique way. દરેક દેશો પોતાની રીતે પ્રગતિ કરે, વેરઝેરથી દૂર થાય. You understand all those things he said and doing good. So we all joined in. But at that time, genuinely, I felt this was like almost a wishful thinking. It's not possible. It's can't happen. But I did take a pinch of that sand. I don't know why I did that. And it's still surprising. So I took that pinch of that sand where he had stood. Okay. And at that time, I kept that sand in my puja. It's still here today after so many years. But it wasn't like, there will be a temple. And it almost became like a fun line. Every time something is impossible or unthinkable, we say, Sami, apne Abu Dhabi Mandir, and everybody will, break out in with great, just humility, but, great humor. So everybody would break out and say, Abu Dhabi Mandir, it's like that. And as we went on, I saw it with my own eyes. Like, when the London temple was being built, I had privately written a letter to him because I was there for maybe a few months ahead of the temple opening. So when I saw a lot of unfinished work and, a lot of things still to be done, I wrote a letter to Swami, કે સ્વામી આ મંદિર પૂરું થાય નહીં, ચારે બાજુ પથ્થર શક્ય નથી, it's not possible. And then he wrote that beautiful letter back. Swami said કે તને એવું લાગે છે, પણ આપણે સત્સંગમાં વાત કરીએ છીએ કે પથ્થર સત્સંગ કરાવશે, that the stones will sing of satsang. You will see it happen. Have faith, and the murtiyas will be such that they will actually radiate peace all around. Jai Jai Kartha. So that he had said in London. But the Abu Dhabi thing was never in our mind or consciousness in that way. So, but now, as we look at it, it's happening. and it's all happened. Okay, so wanted to say that whatever he has said, it's come true.
So by you taking that pinch of sand, it seems that it was preordained that you would lead this project by Pramukh Swami.
See, now you can connect the dots in that way, but
Yeah,
I don't know why I took it. Rohit Bhai Patel also took that pinch, and Yogi Charan Swami also took that pinch. But unfortunately, both Rohit Bhai and Yogi Charan Swami are no more. Yogi Charan Swami passed away, and Rohit Bhai just passed away in COVID. So I'm the only one with the pinch of sand. And it feels very, it feels very different. And as I talk to you even now, so yeah, maybe so.
So you were talking about the magnitude of the project to actually build a traditional Hindu mandir in the Middle East. So just tell us a bit about the hurdles you faced and the significance of the mandir in the Middle East.
See, I would not call them hurdles, but it's like, when you walk into complete new terrains. It's like, when you walk the path with nobody has ever walked. So everything becomes a challenge. Not because the path challenges you, but because of uncertainties and because of the strangeness. So if I put it in a better way, that you can eat here, smile here, and walk here, and I put you on the moon, then everything is a challenge. The simplest things. I've read, when the first astronauts went into space and they were just about to land. So before that, they were circling. I'm talking about Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and forgot the third name, but James Lovell. Okay, so when all of them were, like in that lunar, not the lunar module, but the one that actually orbit. Yeah. Okay. So so when they did land, okay, and the first thing that they were advised by ground control was eat and sleep. That physically they had to be so at their peak, because what the environment outside is completely strange to a human being. But then they also write, but none of them could sleep or eat. You understand? Because of the challenges of uncertainties. So if you look at it, our word, whatever that we can hear. So the first challenge was first, I never had it in my mind that, because Pramukh Swami has said that, let's go and do a mandir. It wasn't like that. There was no strategy, not going out for anything like that. But, we went to the Royal Majlis once because we had a small villa, and there was some issue with that villa, and we wanted to solve that issue, where we used to gather for, every Friday assembly. It was just about 50, 60 devotees gathering in Dubai. And we got a notice because, technically you're not supposed to do any religious activities in any, what do you call, residential area. And that's fair because our devotees were not aware. And there was a small partition they had changed, and even not knowing inadvertently. It wasn't that anybody wants to do something wrong. And as you know, that Pramukh Swami always encouraged every devotee and every sadhu and all the organization to respect the host country, to follow the law to the letter, and to just be gentle and polite and try and find a way, if there is a way. So in that line, I had gone down to meet any royal family member that we could. This was in about 2013. Almost 1,000 good people, and I call them good because they were very close to me, has said that, Swami, there can't be a temple here. And they were saying it in all utter fairness. But as we went, we didn't really go for a temple. I went down to understand what would happen. I connected with the royal family members, particularly based on our conversation, whether the conversation, like uh, circled around Hinduism, uh, then what the sadhu's life is, and who we were. And the sheikhs and everybody were very happy and very understanding. And as I explained that what has happened and what we are doing, they suggested that, why don't you write a letter to the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi for a place for a temple?
Mm.
I was so surprised. It's like, you're walking for something and you end up with something else.
Yeah.
So if I were to take credit for this, it's not
Mm.
true.
Mm.
I never actually went to say that, okay, we need a place for a temple, but
Mm.
I went to understand that how can
Mm.
we resolve this small,
Mm.
issue. And as things developed, I was so naive at that time. I wrote a letter to the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi
Mm.
for place in Dubai. And again, so many people, wise people said that, Swami, if you want to do spiritual activities, then just write
Mm.
that you want to do a meditation center or,
Mm.
a spiritual center, but don't write the word temple. So when I
Mm.
went to Swami, he was 93 at that time. And I asked him that, Swami, this is what we have been told. What should we do if we do get a place? Swami said, what's in your heart? He said, if a temple is in your heart, be truthful
Mm.
and write that. I said, but the temples will have murtis and how it will be looked upon. Should we do? He told me something very important, which I think you should tell your readers as well. He said, what begins with a lie ends up with a lie.
Mm.
And what is founded on truth glorifies truth.
Mm.
Truth is the essence of life. And he explained that the higher people evolve, the more they respect truth and honesty.
Mm.
So he said, be truthful.
Mm. Yeah.
Right, that you want a place for a temple, and we did. That was the historic year 2013.
Mm.
And very informally, we got an answer back that yes, you will get a piece of land in Abu Dhabi. And
Mm.
then we were wondering that in Abu Dhabi, and there was no temple technically like in Abu Dhabi in that time as well. And there were also people who said that maybe, this is the beginning, but maybe it will not happen, whether it can. And there was no way of reminding. You can't send the rulers and anybody, reminder notes like you can and I can and we do. No. So we sat quietly. And then our Prime Minister, Narendra Bhai Modi,
Mm.
and he became the Prime Minister. He knew that we had earlier conversations about the temple, but nothing was actually happening. Like that, so many people in the past might have represented anyway. I'm not aware of
Mm.
that. But the response we got was one of so much friendship and kindness, so we were hopeful. But then after 2 years, in 2015, when the Prime Minister came on his official visit to the UAE, he and the Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, they met. And I think the friendship that they share and the trust that that generated has not just brought countries together and the people of those countries together, and has not just ended up in great trade and agreements and friendship, but it's grown to a level where the mandir
Mm.
was technically allotted land. So it
Mm.
was in 2015 that our Prime Minister thanked His Highness in a huge public gathering, and everybody was so happy.
Mm.
And then the other few years, you might ask that what's happened then from 2015 to 2018, 3 years,
Mm.
because in the government system, they needed enabling clauses and everything because this was the first.
Yeah.
So, and the explanation what a temple is, and the officers came and saw the London Mandir, how it is, what happens, everything. And then he sent, His Highness sent his brother, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan to Akshardham, Delhi. So they saw the Mandir, with everything, with all the features and beautiful. And then, what was most important, it is in 2018 when our Prime Minister came again and the Crown Prince, both of them met in the Presidential Palace. We were there, and when we spoke to both of them together, His Highness said that if it's a temple, it should look like a temple. Make a traditional temple, which is a stone. We had two options. One, the non-traditional contemporary temple, which is like a normal building from outside, and the other, the stone temple, which has a lot of carving that actually revives 10,000 years of art and is absolute traditional. So when they selected that, the Prime Minister said very lovingly, Narendra Bhai, in that presidential palace where almost 1,000 or more delegates from across the world were there who were like applauding the whole process. He said, he and the Crown Prince are like brothers. That's when the Crown Prince drew me closer and said, all three of us are brothers. Oh, what a way, what love, what space, their hearts. And that's how Pramukh Swami's words filled through hearts and a lot of great leaders and good people.
So it seems Prime Minister Modi's involvement has been quite crucial to the whole progress of the temple. How involved has he been in terms of the progress and in terms of the detail of the temple as well? Has he been involved?
Oh, you see, in the process of the permission, okay, yeah, been involved in the process. The second thing is like, when we wanted to open the model, so he has seen the entire model of the mandir, and we've had not just one, multiple meetings. He's a man of great detail, and he is a man of great purpose. And he has this ability to understand culture, spirituality, because he is a very deep cultured and very deep spiritual person. Whatever world sees him as a political leader, he's more than that. And genuinely, he has spent hours sometimes thinking about, and also this when we came up with this idea that we want to bring three rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, and then around those rivers there will be an oasis and the temple will rise. All those concepts he's completely aware of, and now and then in all our challenges he has not just guided but been a part of the journey.
So do you feel the mandir being built in somewhere like the Middle East where it's never been done before in some way mirrors India's rise on the global stage?
So it's how you perceive anything. I believe India has been respected, but yes, if this has been built out of pure friendship, love, and it's founded on values, without, you say negotiations and, rights, those are not the parameters here at all. It's about a great responsibility of the rulers who have actually embraced the needs of the people, and the responsibility of religious people to actually create something for followers and believers and faithful. And I think it's a very big step, and it's very important for India and its global perspective. As Navdeep Singh Suri, who was the ambassador, he said once, one of our Diwali Sabha, he said, what the mandir is doing is to help the image and the presence of India in its right perspective before the world stage. So this is what he said. And M. Shankar, when he came, he also said, and even in other conversations that we've had, he said, Your Holiness, this is like a Cinderella story. It's like a fairy tale. And he used the words that you may think that you are building something in the UAE, but the whole world is watching.
Mm.
And in times to come, there will be legends about Swaminarayan sadhus having conversations with Muslim kings and rulers, just as there are beautiful legends about Buddhist monks having conversation with Chinese emperors. So yes, in that way,
Yeah.
it is about India, culture and spirituality, but it's more about the harmony side of India. It's not just trade,
Yeah.
it's not force, it's about love and harmony.
So is there a message here about India's spirituality and leadership playing a role in promoting global harmony and peace?
101%.
Mm.
It's a message for the whole of humanity, and it's not just India. It's also the rulers of this nation. You know, of course,
Mm.
of course, it's based on Indian values. Of course,
Mm.
it's the love and the effort of Indian artisans and BAPS volunteers and the guidance of Mahant Swami Maharaj. Of course, it's made in India and made in UAE. But you need to understand, it's also the graciousness and the grace and the heart of this nation. So
Mm.
together, it's a great message to the world that yes, harmony is the way forward, and without it, perhaps we have no future.
Mm.
So that's why the mandir has been also sublimed as BAPS Hindu Mandir, a spiritual oasis for global harmony.
Yeah.
And it's bringing people together from all walks, all countries, and all religions to
Mm.
actually create this harmony. When you come into the mandir, we've created this huge sand dune, and if you walk into the sand dune, uh, that's where people are received, and then the first exhibit you see is the wall of harmony. It's 3D printed, okay, very high tech, and it's been printed, and it's been gifted to us by the Bora Muslim community. So imagine come to the welcome
Mm.
gates, BAPS Hindu Mandir, and an entire different community has come forward. You go to the orientation hall, and that's been gifted by the Parsi community.
Mm.
So people understand uh, that how
Yeah.
this entire process has come
Mm.
about because Pramukh Swami talked about bringing countries, cultures
Mm.
together.
Together. Yeah. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the mandir, the seven shikhas representing the seven Emirates
So
states? And
I will talk about it very
yeah,
briefly.
yeah.
That as you come, because the mandir is
Mm.
set in a desert, which is right in the middle between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, is in Abu Mureka.
Mm.
And, so it's almost equidistance from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And as you come in, we've created, the buildings around the temple are monolithic
Mm.
because a geological expert advised us that because this is in the desert, you will get sandstorms, your temple will be carved. So you'll have to have buildings strategically placed around the temple to actually soften the storm. You
Yeah.
understand? So we
Yeah.
had to have buildings which will actually protect the mandir, and those buildings will also have facilities. And one of the ideas which has come for the building are monolithic buildings, which are modern and minimalistic. And that idea came to me, and I'll say as a child, I was always inspired by Stonehenge. Anything monolithic makes it ancient, according to me. And so when we sat down with the designers, we said we want these monolithic buildings around. Then outside is xeriscape, desertscape. Inside Sandi, where the waters get together, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. That's where we will have the oasis, where all the gardens will grow, and that's when the mandir comes in. So from monolithic buildings to the three rivers, then
Mm.
coming down to the seven shikhars, and that is clearly a way of expressing our gratitude to the seven Emirates because all of them collectively have a role in, welcoming the mandir. And we also have under those shikhars, it also talks about Hindu unity. It's not just about the harmony of the UAE, all the 7 Emirates. It's about in the unity as well. So in the Shikhar, the first Shikhar on the left is Shiva Shikhar, where we have the entire Shiva Parivar. So Lord Shiva, Parvati ji, Ganapati ji, and we have Kartikeya ji. Then as you go along, the second Shikhar, we'll have Jagannath ji, the Murti of Jagannath ji, which is made out of wood in the traditional way. So that is the Jagannath ji Shikhar. Then the third Shikhar will have Radha Krishna. So they will be there. Then the fourth in the center will be Akshar Purushottam. That's Bhagavan Swaminarayan Gunathanan Swami. Then the fifth will have Tirupati Balaji and Padmavati ji. And the sixth, we will have Ayyappa Swamiji. And the seventh, that's the first Shikhar on the right, we have Ram Parivar, Bhagavan Sri Ram, Sita ji, and Lakshman ji. So these are all the main deities in different Shikhars. Okay, and they are placed in that beautiful way. And around the Shikhars, outside, we have the entire Ramayana carved where Lord Rama is there. Entire Ramayana, the ancient Ayodhya to Ram, it's hand carved. The entire Shiva Puran carved. Then we have around, Lord Krishna's Shikhar, we have the Gita, the Bhagavatam, and the Mahabharata stories from their hand carved. Around, we have the Jagannath Ji's Yatra completely carved. And then we have these stories and episodes from Bhagavan Swaminarayan's life carved around his Shikhar. Then Tirupati Ji's life, then Ayyappa Swami's life. So like that, if you look at it, it's also the carvings actually, it's like encyclopedic. Our main scriptures and deities, they have been carved. But one more step that we've taken to express Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that's the bhavana. Because our spiritual leaders and Pramukh Swami always express that, Mahan Swami Karanti, he always says that harmony is God's virtue. Wherever there is harmony, God resides. And whatever you ask from God, he only gives if you are harmonious. You understand? It becomes a very important part of moving ahead. So we decided to take around 14 incidents from ancient civilizations which talk about harmony and friendship. So we have an incident from Arabic culture of King Suleiman carved. We have a beautiful story from the Mayan culture of the two Aztecs who were constantly. And the purport or the moral of the story is that in friendship we flourish, in war we perish. Then we have a story, Chinese civilization, then the Egyptian civilization is almost done in the form of hieroglyphics. It's all carved on the temple. So we have, like from the ancient Indian civilization and everything. So all that has been carved on the temple. And then around the temple, we have an assembly hall that caters to all our cultural needs. We have a library. Then we have a majlis for the people. Then we have a community center. We have a food court and a beautiful ghat inspired from the Varanasi ghats. So where the Ganga river passes, there is a beautiful where you can sit and also contemplate.
So it seems like a confluence of all different messages of religions and ideas. So let's say 10 years from now, what's your hope for the message that this temple will bring to the region?
Same, singular, and one. Not just now, not just after 10 years, but even, I believe, after 1,000 years. The only message, this place of worship, or I believe any place of worship, but this particular should give the message of harmony, whether it's harmony in the family, harmony in community, harmony with your own self, harmony with God, and harmony amongst ourselves, between countries. That's the only message it should give. And that is the message what Indian culture and Hinduism is all about. We are no stranger. When I talk to you about harmony, You don't have to force yourself to believe in harmony. You believe because we love nature. We are in harmony with nature, with the sun, with the moon, with the forest, with the waters. We worship them. So I believe the single message should go is global harmony, beginning with personal harmony.
And so now that the mandir is finally coming to fruition, what do you think Pramukh Swami would be saying, looking down from the heavens?
It's too overwhelming, you know. I know he'll be happy. I see his smile from one end of the sky to the other end. I feel it. It's not about uh, it's not about eloquence or putting words together. It's about feeling it. I feel him now, and I believe those whom you love never leave you. Those whom you love never leave you. And I feel his love. Personally, I feel his love through Mahan Swami. And everybody, you know, can you imagine everybody? This was perhaps the most daunting task. And everybody has helped. You know, if I said that we did it, it's not true. This temple is too big for any individual or any one organization. No way. It's the will of God and the grace of Guru that the stars have aligned. So everybody has helped, you know, and I feel his smile. It's not about seeing him smile. I feel it, and it cuts across the eyes.
So you've been involved in many of the most significant projects undertaken by BAPS, from London to Akshardham. So what's next for you after the completion of this project?
You know, when Pramukh Swami was asked the same question by Dr. Subramaniam, who had actually operated on his heart, and he was the bypass surgeon who had operated. He was the only one who actually physically held his heart.
Wow.
Okay, and he came down to see Akshardham, and he was so happy, the Delhi Akshardham, and then out of the blue, he saw me. So, what's your next project? And he said, very smilingly, he said, "Humne to Bhagwan Swaminarayan ne Kayami project aapyo che." First he said Bhajan Bhakti, and then Samne Kayami project aapyo che. God has given me a project which is permanent, the project of peace, to bring more peace, make more peace. And then he said, Vachma ava mandiro bani jai che. And as a byproduct in the middle, so if I look at, like I said, I'm always inspired by him, his words, what he did, and how he carried himself. I believe this was not something that I have done, and this is in truth, you know. And so it's not about me doing something else. It's about him guiding me to do something else. It's very clear. And it's no, why do I say that? If I ask you to jump, you know, how high can you jump? 2 feet, 3 feet? If you're a high jumper, maybe 7 feet. If you're a pole vaulter, maybe 18, 20 feet. But if you jump and you land on the moon, then you need to admit to yourself that these were not your legs that carried you. You can't be fooled. So it's like, you know, I know I didn't do it very clearly. You don't have, nobody has to tell me or force me. I know I didn't do it. It happened. Everybody has helped. So if I say, okay, then this next project is going to be this and this, but no. It's what he guides, how he guides, and what we all do together. Yes, on the horizon, the king of Bahrain has already allotted us another land in Bahrain.
Okay.
So, but at the end of the day, whatever our Guru wishes, we do. It's not something that I feel that I have to do. It's whatever he guides.
Okay. Thank you, Swamiji. It's a real privilege speaking to you. Thank you.
Do my prayers for Dad. I remember him so deeply. And also your mom and your entire family who are a permanent part of my prayers, and the kids and the future, your readers, your workers, and they're all mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Take care.
That was brilliant. That was very emotional, Swamiji. Very emotional.